I'm back. It's finally time.
It is time.
I've alluded to Way to Wonderland several times in my previous videos covering the Ever After High series, which if you need to get caught up on, there's a handy dandy playlist for you, linked in the description and in the iCard. Now, for my Ever After High videos, I'm trying to go through them chronologically with the story, but Way to Wonderland is a bit of a weird one to throw into the mix, because technically Way to Wonderland dropped smack dab in the middle of Season 3. I debated on what order I wanted to go with, but I decided I'd start with Way to Wonderland first, and then I can address all of Season 3 next time. All that's really important from the first half of Season 3 was the introduction of a few new characters, but we'll get into that as we go into the story. Well, I think I spent enough time on this preamble, it's time to dive into Way to Wonderland. So this special is a little different than most others. Technically, Way to Wonderland was split into 4 different parts, each part starting and ending with our narrators, including Brooke.
What about Wonderland? Something.
Look, you know better than that. No spoilers.
It's honestly impressive just how much personality the narrators have, even though they're disembodied voices. Anyways, each of the 4 parts that make the special is about 20 minutes long, meaning at the time this aired, Way to Wonderland was the longest special for the franchise to come out. Fantastic! With a longer runtime, I think the story can really dive into the heavier topics that they're always trying to get into. Some of my biggest critiques for the last few specials has been how I wanted them to be longer. I can't wait to see how they'll expand on the characters and the plot threads and interesting things in meaningful ways here.
Pleased to announce I'm doing a special feature. Stories about Wonderland and all the students, because it'll give you a chance to rehash how these Blunderland brats got stuck here in the first place.
Well, well, who are these fresh new faces? Technically being introduced in the early episodes of Season 3, it's Faybelle Thorne, daughter of the Dark Fairy, and Darling Charming, Dexter's twin sister. Yeah, these 2 characters are twins. Twins, can't you tell?
Not my mom's fault that Wonderland is sealed off from Ever After. Maybe she poisoned Wonderland's magic. And sure, because of her, Wonderland is even topsy-turvier than ever.
Everybody, look out! It's a gigantic wall of exposition, run! Yeah, so all of this stuff is explained in the Ever After High books, peppered throughout several chapters or even just in different books in the series, fully explaining how the evil queen tried to take over Wonderland. And I think the show proper really hurt itself by not setting up any of these concepts sooner, having to stop everything to hear Raven word vomit tons of lore that's crucial for understanding the basic plot of this special is not a great start for this adventure. But anyways, now that we got all of that out of the way, what's our first step in our Wonderland journey?
Quiet in class! Pop quiz on Chapter 3!
Oh, okay. Well, I guess the scene isn't too bad. It's comedic and fun, and most importantly, it highlights how Apple takes her studies very seriously, and how Raven is more creatively passion-driven. Both girls go about things differently, but do equally great things. A simple, smart scene to highlight that.
Apple's good at logic stuff, and Raven's good at artsy, improvisational, creative stuff.
Oh, yeah. I figured it out on my own. You don't need to hold my hand here, narrators. Anyways, Apple is doing a special article on Wonderland for the newspaper, and Raven, Briar, Maddie, Bunny, Alistair, Kitty, and Darling volunteer to help.
Especially what secrets it might hold. Not that I like secrets, or have any. Oh, don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious.
Lizzie shows up, lamenting how it's her mother's birthday and how she wishes she could see her, but they're not allowed to enter Wonderland because of the curse Raven's mom put on it. Brooke, also bored that nothing's happening, tells Maddie that the Queen of Hearts is in danger. Finally, plot, we're moving forward.
Maybe we should look at what's been written about Wonderland before.
Oh. Okay, yeah, but first we have to have the study montage so the kids can figure out how to get to Wonderland. Fine, I get it. It lets the characters actually talk to each other a little bit, and it makes sense that they wouldn't just dive into Wonderland right off the bat. It's not supposed to be easy to get into.
Whoa, hashtag, I didn't do my homework. So, what exactly happened to the evil queen?
Oh my god, come on! We just got this exposition with Raven in the cafeteria. It was literally 10 minutes ago. Why have both chunks of exposition? It just feels like we're wasting time repeating things. Nothing has actually happened in the story yet. It's just repeated exposition over and over. We're not even really getting fun interactions with the characters either. Though, importantly, we find out that the evil queen lives within all mirrors, and can faintly interact with the world around the mirrors she sees through, helping to nudge the kids in the right direction. Figuring out the curse the queen used on Wonderland, Raven attempts to reverse it. It looks like it doesn't fully work out the way they thought it would, and everyone vanishes, except for Alistair and Bunny for some reason. Oh my god, guys, it's happening. It's finally happening. It took 15 whole minutes, but we are finally entering Wonderland. This sequence is a good example of how much more detail was put into the animation for this special. The show already looks good, but there's a lot more little things that they go all out with for in Way to Wonderland, which is really cool. Oh no.
No! No! No!
I, without a doubt, hate the Wonderland outfits. I know the show needed to sell dolls to accompany the special. That's how Mattel works. And a Wonderland-themed design for our main characters is, in essence, a great idea. But I really hate how they go about it, mostly because none of these designs look good. The overly large accessories feel more goofy than wondrous, and the hard lattice details like Raven's collar look really like plastic. They don't look like they're wearing fashionable outfits, they look like dolls. They look like they were made with the doll's materials in mind. They're bulky and garish with their obnoxious colors. One character on their own feels fine enough, but once you have all 6 girls standing next to each other, it's like Technicolor vomit. Personally, what I would have done is design each girl to personify one of the iconic elements of the story in Wonderland. Obviously, Kitty, Maddie, and Lizzie would take after their parents' fairy tales a bit more, but design Briar to be themed after the painted roses. Design Apple after the White Queen with the chess pieces. Design Raven after the card soldiers, but feature like a spade, one of the black cards that could be the opposite to Lizzie Hearts, symbolizing how the evil queen attempted to take over. I think what hurts the most is the fact that they had such outstanding designs for the Hat-tastic Tea Party. These outfits feel 10 times more in line with the idea of Wonderland than these eyesores. And to top it all off, the fact that they have a random magical makeover is more goofy than anything else. It really makes the whole transformation sequence feel like one big in-your-face commercial. Usually, they're much better at making it feel more natural to the story.
We could find a storybook of legends. Yeah, about that,
Finally! You have no idea how much this plot point was digging at me for so long. Briar dumping the storybook of legends down the well was such an interesting element for her character, and I couldn't wait to see how they would address it. And it felt like an eternity, you know? It took a whole year for them to finally get back to this topic. Can you imagine taking a whole year to finally come back to the plot point with Briar? Isn't it just crazy how long that took? Who could do something like that?
Can it wait, Briar? My mother's party is at tea time.
Looks like we'll have to wait a little bit longer, but hey, we are finally in Wonderland. Oh, and Darling's here too. She didn't get an outfit transformation, but that's okay, I guess. Anyways, we get a bunch of shots highlighting the wonder of Wonderland, and I think it's a blast. Animated mediums get the opportunity to really go all out with their design, animation, and art direction when they play around with Wonderland. Wonderland has endless possibilities, and it's fun seeing all the unique oddities the creators can come up with when they can go all out. And seeing how they reinterpret classic Wonderland concepts is always cool too. The girls realize the curse isn't actually lifted when suddenly the White Knight reappears. Remember them from Spring Unsprung? They helped Ginger out, and now they're back to help out our girls once more.
Surprise! I lulled you into a false sense of security.
Why didn't you do anything?
Well, I couldn't do anything. It was his turn.
Turns out the girls have arrived in Wonderland on the one day it has school, and they're not allowed to leave until they finish their classes. And that's where we stopped the first part of the special. Not gonna lie, part 1 is really, really boring. But I'll wait till the end of the review to sum up my thoughts about the story as a whole. Let's dive into part 2 for now.
So the girls landed in Wonderland, only to be captured by the Red Knight.
So at the beginning of each new part, we hear from the narrators again, recapping what happened last time, which definitely makes the 4 parts feel like, well, 4 separate parts, rather than one larger story. They did release each part 1 week after the last, but watching it all in one sitting, it definitely is a weird flow to the story progression.
Chase is the name. Chase Redford.
Meh. I mean, like, of all the boy characters, Chase doesn't really seem that special. I mean, he's fine, design-wise. I don't know. No other boy has made all of the girls stop in their tracks. I guess I just expected something more to get this reaction out of all of the girls. Fortunately, it looks like the girls will be able to leave the school before the Queen of Hearts party starts, so hopefully they'll be able to get there in time before the unknown culprit attempts their coup.
Oh dear, no time to talk. That's the bell that rings when the bell's about to ring. Quickly now.
You know what's funny? They say this like it's a wacky Wonderland thing, but my school actually did have warning bells. So this is like normal.
Is that little Lizzie Arts I just saw?
Yes, Corley. Miss Jester.
Seems I better look into this.
Who could that mysterious figure hiding in the shadows and accompanied by sinister music be? Golly gee, it sure is a mystery. Anyways, back to finishing our classes so we can find out who wants to overthrow the queen.
So all we have to do is make it through 1 day of school? That doesn't seem so...
Stay still, think they can do whatever they want. Find the coach. Yeah!
Yeah, okay. In all honesty, attending the classes is far more boring than my montage might imply. It's a lot of the girls wandering into a classroom, being told something, being confused, and stumbling upon the answer, usually by accident. I know the fun of a Wonderland-themed special is seeing the zaniness of Wonderland, but honestly, everything in the school feels like, once again, just a waste of time. It's both feverishly frantic and painfully drawn out.
They're just saying strange things and disagreeing for no reason.
During their lunch hour, they officially meet the shadowed woman from before, Corley Jester, who is right away at odds with Lizzie. And at the end of the school day, the girls find out that Corley is also the vice principal and the reason they're stuck in the school, and was purposefully trying to get them to fail their classes by making them more difficult.
The plan to overthrow her mother to succeed. Of course I do!
I like Corley. She's a fun villain. I love her design, I love her haughty attitude. She's a lot of fun. And that's the end of part 2, and we start part 3.
Listen to me. You have to be the Queen of Hearts. It's your destiny. Sometimes following your heart and following your destiny are the same thing.
I like how we address this here. I like that it's Raven who says it. It's easy to get confused and think Raven doesn't want any of them to follow their destined paths, but moments like this remind us that what she cares about is people following the path that'll make them happy. Corley wants to send them to detention, but as per her own rules, they need to hold a trial first. But first, we actually jump back to Alistair and Bunny. Yeah, remember back when they were in this adventure? They think the spell just transported the girls somewhere in the school, since we already established that Raven's teleportation spell isn't that accurate. They end up finding Dexter, who's worried that Darling's missing.
Wait, Darling disappeared too?
What do you mean? She was right there next to you, with the other girls. The girls you're already looking for. Alistair, you gotta care more. Daring shows up, and we fly around on Dragonback while he says that he thinks she might be in the library, and that's it. And I'll be honest, being on the dragon didn't make this a more fun scene. Don't get me wrong, I love dragons, but it's just weird that he insisted on riding his dragon just for him to say basically one sentence, and then we don't see him or the dragon again. Whatever. Anyways, we go back to the court trial, and I just hate it. It's so boring. It's a lot of twisting wordplay around in a way that's that's very Wonderland style.
This is a misunderstanding.
And what don't you understand?
No, not us.
And by this point in the special, it's just become exhausting. The sort of wordplay shenanigans has been heavily featured all throughout all the classes the girls took in part 2. I understand it's playing into the zaniness of Wonderland, but it's just a waste of time. Seeing the girls get charged with unruliness is boring. Watching them flounder trying to say the right things the right way so the Wonderlandians won't misinterpret them is boring. The scene isn't fun to watch. It's not thrilling or exciting or even funny. It's not even fun to look at. It's just the girls standing in one spot, talking. At the beginning of the special, I said I was excited to see Ever After High finally getting a longer runtime for its story. Well, unfortunately, it feels like they didn't know what to do with all this time because they keep just wasting it with pointless filler. The only important thing that happens when they go to court is Kitty lets slip that her mom has the Storybook of Legends.
I just need to sign your page in the Storybook of Legends, and your destiny is mine!
Once again, the evil queen knocks a book off of a wall to help Corley with being evil.
Book of evil spells?
There's an awful lot of just random evil spellbooks sitting around various shelves, huh? Anyways, the girls get sent to detention, and after a rather convoluted series of events, they figure out how to escape. It goes: Brooke finds out she can also pick books off of shelves just like the evil queen. Maddie hears Brooke explaining this and remembers that her dad used to get out of detention when he went to Wonderland High. Brooke pushes books off of the walls in Ever After High, landing to open pages with one large letter highlighted to spell out a very long message in Riddleish. Bunny, Alistair, and Dexter figure out to go to the Mad Hatter, ask him how to get out of detention, and have to play a memory game with him so he'll remember the word Tiddlywinks. Brooke tells Maddie, and the Mock Turtle says Tiddlywinks used to be how you could get out of detention, but since Chase Redford is acting as the vice principal while Corley is away, it's actually going to be a trial by combat with a sword fight, where the White Knight bursts in all of a sudden to fight off Chase while the rest of the girls escape. So yeah, all of that. And that's the end of part 3. Without a doubt, part 3 is the worst part of the series. Between the court scene and detention, it's just such a bore. Both scenes just have the girls standing around not knowing what to do. I really don't see why this was what the whole episode was dedicated to. I feel like they wanted to do something similar to last time, where they had Brooke being able to help with the story progression, and also try to think of a way to give Alistair and Bunny something to do with this Wonderland-themed special, but this is just a weird way of doing it. Brooke learns how to move one book off of a shelf, but then suddenly she's dropping tons of books to land on very specific pages, and her message is really long. It feels like they just didn't really know what to do, and it doesn't flow very well. Anyways, we're on to part 4, and that means we can finally get things going. Corley's using evil spells to find the Storybook of Legends, and she still is going to try to get to the queen. Corley uses one of her spells to disguise herself as Lizzie, getting into the party.
That's right! It's my birthday!
It is fun getting to see the Queen of Hearts here. Her appearance was so brief last time, and I always loved seeing the parents of our main cast. Also, I really like her design, except for the, heart eyebrows. I don't know, that feels like a little bit much, but the rest of it is 10 out of 10 though. Likewise, it's also neat getting to see more of Caddy here too, especially now that she's not playing the role of the villain. Though there is something kind of weird going on here, because Raven said this earlier.
Thanks to her, the Queen of Hearts is a total wacko screwball.
This line and her appearance from Spring Unsprung made me think there was something wrong with the Queen of Hearts. Like, she was more strict or mean compared to normal, maybe even cursed into acting this way because of Raven's mom. But her appearance here is totally normal. Yeah, she's easily distracted and obsessed with her presence, but not in an evil way. She seems fine. She seems lovely. She seems nice. Especially after Corley shows up pretending to be Lizzie. It seems like we were setting up something for the Queen of Hearts, but it never ended up coming to fruition. As Corley tricks the queen into thinking she's Lizzie, Kitty finds out her mom gave the book to the queen as her birthday present, and it's been stowed away with all the other gifts she's gotten.
All I have to do is sneak in and grab it. So much easier than I expected.
After being lost for a bit, Lizzie and the others finally find their way to the party. This means Lizzie finally gets to reunite with her beloved mother and breaks the spell Corley had cast. Hooray! Kitty gets the rest of the girls to help her try to look for the book among all the other presents, but it looks like Corley already found it.
Out with the old, in with the Whoa!
Corley and Raven have an actual magical battle, and I gotta admit, this is awesome. The only real action we've seen from this special so far has been like Chase and the White Knights slapping their swords together a bit. Yawn. This, with this epic set, awesome lighting effects, and a sense of real danger? Yes, please. They realize Raven can't beat Corley without her full powers, and the only way she could do that is by signing her page in the storybook of Legends.
I know I always wanted you to become your mom, but now, I just don't think it's in you. The decision is yours, Raven. It always has been.
What an amazing conflict for Raven right here. Forced to sign the storybook in order to save her friends, and Apple realizing Raven signing isn't what she really wants anymore. This is such a great conflict, and I really wish we could have, like, I don't know, set this up a little bit more? Discuss this idea behind, will signing the book make Raven evil automatically? Will it change her? What other choices are there in a moment like this? This is a super intriguing and really cool concept, so I don't know why we waited for the last second to cram this into the end of the special. Raven seems like she's really gone off the deep end before Apple intervenes.
Choose who you want to be! Isn't that what you always tell me?
The weight of this moment is very intense, but it might have hit a little bit harder if Apple's outfit wasn't so ridiculous looking. Just saying. Raven snaps out of it! But Corley escaped. Will Corley be coming back a bigger threat than ever before? Well, we'll have to talk about that some other time. Raven, now that she has the same magical power as her mother had, is able to reverse the curse on Wonderland, meaning people can now travel in and out of Wonderland freely. So of course that means we gotta have a cool party. Yeah!
Guys, do you mind if I talk to you for a second?
Oh my god, it's happening. We're finally getting back to Briar in the book. Oh my god, it's happening.
If anyone can use the book to steal a destiny, maybe the book is more trouble than it's worth.
Okay, that's it? I understand making this about the book rather than Briar's actions. I don't know, this just felt like a really big moment for Briar. I guess I just expected more for her? Like a more detailed conversation about forgiving her for throwing the book down the well, or understanding her being a rebel. I don't know, like, it was eating at Briar for so long. I guess I wanted more to happen with her? She feels like an afterthought in this special, if I'm honest. Anyways, Apple decides that they should get rid of the book, and Raven uses her magic to destroy it, giving everyone else their pages back so they can choose their own destinies, ensuring no one like Corley could try and take someone else's destiny by signing a page that didn't belong to them. Oh, also the White Knight is actually Darling. Gotta throw that in at the very end. And with that, it's the end of the Wonderland special! So I think it should be obvious by now that I really am not a fan of Way Too Wonderland, which is probably why it took me so long to finally getting around to reviewing it. I like Ever After High a lot, and it bums me out how much of a flop this special is for me. I might have been a bit harsh on Spring Unsprung, but that is leagues better than Way Too Wonderland. I think what sucks the most is how legitimately cool everything got right at the very end. The battle with Corley was a great finale. And the actions our heroes had to take in order to save the day was intense. Like, this is the special where Raven decides to sign the Book of Legends, and Apple decides to destroy it. That's really crazy. That's a huge landmark for the development of the story and these characters. So it's a shame that it's all packed right into the final moments of the special. Parts 1, 2, and 3 are so drab. Nothing happens. At least nothing substantial or entertaining. Most of Way Too Wonderland is just our main cast literally literally stumbling into new situations and accidentally solving a way to stumble into the next situation. The girls barely got to talk to each other, and it makes the adventure feel vacant of actual character or development. It all just reeks of being dragged out with pointless filler. Something that really disappointed me was how only Apple or Raven actually got anything done at all. They were the ones who solved all of the problems. Why drag Briar, Kitty, Lizzie, and Maddie around everywhere if they're not even going to do anything? They set up the idea early on about how Apple is logically driven, while Raven is creatively driven, but that idea kind of goes nowhere.
This is Bo's left brain. Objective, logical. This is Bo's right brain. Subjective, creative.
On top of all that, by this point in time, I was just sick of seeing so much Wonderland from Ever After High. Not only was there the Hat-tastic Tea Party doll line, but Spring Unsprung, the special that was just before this one, also heavily featured Wonderland and Wonderland characters. When this special was announced and I realized we were doing Wonderland once again, I felt exhausted by these ideas. I would have loved to see Oz or Neverland, but instead we get saddled with another Wonderland storyline. A weird thing about the story is how little Maddie actually does in it, and of all the girls who go on the adventure, Maddie and Briar do the least. It's just odd since Maddie is not only one of our main characters in the show, but she's also the one who's usually front and center in all of the promotional material. I would have loved to see Maddie get to be explored more, get the kind of development we've seen with Lizzie and Kitty, but she just doesn't. In part 1, they talk about the curse on Wonderland a lot, and their dialogue makes it out to be something really dire. Headmaster Grimm acts like separating the schools is something super intense.
Understand this. The Wonderland curse is dangerous. It has been sealed off for your own good. Enough. The worlds must remain separate, and that is all you need to know.
And Raven talks about the curse as if it's done something to affect Wonderland or its magic, to like make it more dangerous or something. But once they get there, nothing happens. Everything works normally, nothing seems that bad. Kitty can't teleport, but it's implied that only happens because she's at school, not actually anything to do with the curse. It got to the point that I forgot that the barrier between the realms wasn't a part of the curse. It was a part of the solution to keep the curse contained, because that seemed to be the only real thing that was going on here. Everything was just green, and then everything wasn't green, and now you could travel between realms. That's the only thing that seemed to change after the curse was broken. Everything set up in part 1 kind of just gets ignored in all of the other parts. And there's other weird things too. Having Daring show up with a dragon just to say one thing to the others. Darling's reveal being forgotten until the very last second of the special. It makes me wonder if Way to Wonderland suffered from a lot of rewrites. It's not all doom and gloom though. Like I said, the ending was really cool. The fight, the conflict, the emotional moments with Raven and Apple, it was super thrilling. I also like a lot of the designs for Wonderland and various classic Wonderland characters. And I liked our 2 new characters that they introduced this time around, with Corley and Chase. Though something I noticed was that Corley's accent kind of changes as the special goes on.
Was that little Lizzie Arts I just saw? Maybe S for stuck-up little princess I could never stand.
Also, I did really like Raven playing Unchess. That was fun. That was a clever little puzzle for the girls to solve. Anyways, I think I've said everything I can about Way to Wonderland, and it's finally over. We've gotten over the worst parts of Ever After High, and that means things are only going to get better and better and better from here on out. I hope you'll join me as we watch the story continue to unfold.
Well, that's a problem. But not my fault. I did everything I could, and you did too. Also, why are you still here?
No man can kill me.
I am no man.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker?
Send in the clown.
Shout out to my $10 patrons, you're all amazing. Nako, James Dodds, Cool Duck, Andrew, Ramiel, Valhalla Knight, Chamomile, G Extreme, Classy Critic, Sunny Shy, Azoth, Great Bar, Jake, Amber, Hype Man, Zero to Hero, Isaiah, Scaring Crows, Not All That Evil, Messiah Complex, Jacob, Virus, Ben's Sketchbook, The Watcher, Omega Fighter, and JP. So yeah, I hope you liked the special. Sorry I don't like Way to Wonderland that much, but I do love Ever After High, and I'm really excited for the things I'm going to cover afterwards. Like, Season 3 is really cool, and the Dragon games, oh my god. If you like Way to Wonderland, please tell me about it in the comments. Let me know what you like about it. Like, what am I not seeing, you know? Tell me what you think about the girls' new outfits. Did you ever get any of the dolls for this series? Any and all thoughts and opinions about Ever After High, Way to Wonderland, and everything else, leave them in the comments below. I can't wait to see them all. And I hope you'll join me for the next one, which hopefully won't take as long to make. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.